Shaw. We got some other exciting guests joining the stream tonight. Thank you for joining us. I'm so happy to be back in Texas, back live with you guys. I did miss each and every one of you. I'm sure Scarlett enjoyed me not live streaming every day of the week. Oops, hang on one second. I got to mute my other stream here. All right. So, Casey, I'm sure most of the folks that are watching have seen you, but for those that have not, can you tell us very briefly about yourself and about your channel?
Yeah, my name's Casey Shaw. I've been streaming since I think it was the end of June, and I've been strictly just AMC, basically looking at the technical analysis and trying to offer apes information throughout the trading day as it's happening. I start streaming at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time until 3 p.m. So basically 2 hours, 2.5 hours before market open until market close. It's a 9-hour stream, and it can be pretty intense. But it's one of those things where if you want to know what's happening right now when it's happening, you can go there, show up, and we can discuss it and talk about it, and you can leave. It doesn't have to be a place where you have to feel like you got to stick around for sure.
I've done a lot of those all day streams. I know what you go through. It can be brutal. I've, in fact, that was the one reason before spring break, before my vacation, why I had not watched your channel, because usually you're streaming when I'm streaming. And then I kind of have a golden rule of if the video is more than 10 minutes, I'm not going to watch it. And
Yeah.
when I saw all your streams were 9 hours, I'm like, well, I'm going to need a lot of free time to check into this guy. But I did with the drive, long drive. I got to listen to you. I got to hear your interview with Froggy. I loved it. And we even listened to you guys, you and Froggy, when we were driving back on Saturday. And I was thinking to myself when I'm listening to Casey Shaw, like, you're answering questions exactly like I would answer them. I loved it, maybe in a nicer, more gentle way, but the sentiment that you have, the common sense, the experience, and the way that you view things, I felt like mirrored a lot of my own viewpoints. I don't know
Thank
if
you.
you knew that,
I
but
didn't.
that's
Thank you. Maybe it's because we're from the same parts.
maybe so. Yeah,
Let's chalk it up to that.
we also found out that I found out, I didn't know this, KC just lives a few miles away from me here in the Austin area. So good to have another Texan on board, and glad to meet you and get to chat with you tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And allegedly I'm doing an interview on KC's channel maybe sometime in the next week or so. We just got to work out the details. So stay tuned for that. I say allegedly because we haven't ironed out the finer details. So we're going to try and keep it positive tonight. I already know. I think I can predict what a lot of the questions are going to be. But I've got a couple questions for folks first. And Casey, I'm going to hit you up with one since you are in the chat right now and we're waiting for other people to join in. Just really briefly, starting off on a positive note, why are you holding AMC stock? What do you love about the stock?
So in 2001, I was a part of the market crash that happened during that time. I had originally got into the stock market in 1998, originally, when I first got into the semiconductor industry. Very mild trading. I was a dink at the time, so dual income, no kids, provided a lot of extra cash, be able to throw at the market. 2001 ruined me. I mean, I learned so many lessons because you have, a bullish market that turns into a bear market, and you just learn a lot of things really quick, really fast. And I swore off the market for a while. Some of the things that I learned, though, in the process is I really felt that systemically we had a problem with the system, and that was hedge funds. So back in 2001, I was even saying we need to get rid of these hedge funds, but nobody was listening to me. So fast forward to current day, when I first started hearing about GME in January of last year, I went, wow, we now have social media. We have everybody who's realizing what's going on and they're doing something about it. And I'm like, I got to be a part of this. This is what I've been talking about for 20 years. So I only had enough money for 2 shares, and I bought in on GME. I think it was 2 shares of GME on the 27th. I think it was. Terrible time to get in. I didn't care though. I really didn't care. But I was waiting for some of my other positions to settle, and I was going to enter the rest of those positions into GME when that happened. But I started doing some more research, and I was like, you know what? I really feel more comfortable with AMC. I really do, because the potential that AMC has is so much bigger, in my opinion, than GME. That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinions. But I feel like there's a lot more potential for the company to rebound and also have a much bigger squeeze. So the rest of my money went into AMC, and that's the story.
Excellent. I'm going to bring in Froggy. Are you ready to come on live? Give me a thumbs up if you are. Okay. We're going to bring Froggy Styles in. Froggy, I don't know if you heard the question, but starting off this live stream, this open mic night, on a positive note, just a brief statement about what do you like about this stock. And by the way, I should give credit to Phil For Real for this question, because he and I had a phone conversation today, and he actually mentioned the question to me, and I said, Phil, I think that'd be a great way to start the stream today. So shout out to Phil For Real. Froggy, the question is, why are you holding AMC stock? What do you like about it?
Well, there's multiple different reasons. I started in GME. I like the fact that, well, I'm a gamer and I like video games. GME brought me into this whole mess pretty much in January. And in that process, through watching like trades and Mac cores and stuff back in the day, I ended up finding out about AMC, found out it was in a similar situation. As I looked into it, it looked really bad on like the way it was going down. It looked like it might have not made it, but it got reversed, turned around. If you know anything about short squeezes, a company that's as close to bankruptcy as you can get, when it turns around, you're almost, I can't say guaranteed to squeeze, but there's a potential for a squeeze. So when it reversed around, I was waiting for the recovery, and I was waiting for the rip from the recovery. And we got some of that, but it wasn't exactly the full rip that we were looking at. Shorts are still here. They're still trapped, and they haven't left. So, but before it ran up, I watched the utilization run up to 100. I watched the short interest numbers start fluctuating around where they're playing with things. I knew about the buy button, all the other stocks. It became the most attractive because there was more cash flow into this company than any of the other ones. So I knew that when there's a turnaround, this was going to be much bigger. So fundamentally, this was the most solid short squeeze play, even though GME looked better from back in January. Plus, I can't see how movies would go out. I'm a blockbuster person.
Yeah.
I mean, so I like those types of movies. Like I kind of wish Blockbuster would have went into a Netflix kind of thing and it would have saved itself. But then, this play here, just watching what Adam Aaron did, he's done it seems like he's done a lot more than Ryan Cohen has over the past many months to turn this company around. And there's a lot of things that are kind of sitting here that we can look at as positives.
And I'm sure everybody, if you've seen me before, you've heard my why, but just a very quick recap. I watched what happened with GameStop. I've watched a million pump and dump and short squeeze plays over the last 30 plus years. And the thing that caught my attention with GameStop is people didn't really go away. And so I started paying attention after that. I was not in the original GameStop squeeze. And I happened to come across some of the OG YouTubers covering GameStop and AMC. And I like movies. I love everything about them. And I certainly did not want to see AMC shorted into oblivion. So I had that selfish little piece that I wanted to support the company, but I also was in it for the short squeeze. And clearly now I'm in it for a more of a fundamentals, because the short squeeze did not happen on the timeline that we wanted, that I wanted anyways. And I'm okay with that. I still support the company. I see improvements and I feel better about the fundamentals now than I did a year ago. I wasn't buying it at all for fundamentals a year ago, but I see that they are carving out a path to fix those fundamentals. So whether or not we get a catalyst that causes a short squeeze, or we improve fundamentals to the point where the short thesis is broken, I believe that this is still a good play, and the short interest continues to go up. So I like it. I like the stock. Opinionated says, how many of us own and play video? Do you guys, you said, who said they were a gamer? Was that Froggy or?
Yeah, me.
I am as
KC?
well. Oh yeah.
I've spent more than my fair share of dollars at GameStop, although I don't do as much gaming now. I had 2 kids, 2 boys that were gamers. I've played plenty of gaming in my younger years, but not so much recently. But believe me, yes, we had the membership at GameStop and spent many a dollar there. So, and I do have GameStop stock now that I bought on dips after the original squeeze. I honestly don't know which one's going to go first if there is another squeeze, but I think this is a good question to both of you guys. I think that if one of them squeezes due to a catalyst specific to that stock, that the other will get a sympathy squeeze with it, because it's all the same bad guys. Do you guys concur with that? Do you have a different opinion?
I agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's going to be like one domino falls over, the rest go.
And it's more than just GME too. I think there's a lot of meme stocks that are really attached, and you can see it in the numbers and how they play out.
What? Let's start with KC. What are your thoughts for the market and for AMC going into next week? Where do you think we're headed? Now, no one's going to hold you accountable for this. This is just your opinion, just your thoughts. This is not financial advice. But what are you thinking for next week based on the action that we had last week, or any news that you caught over the weekend?
So I'm actually, I was just before we got on here, there was literally a tweet from one of my moderators who sent me something saying, it was from Charlie's vid saying the biggest event in the better part of a decade takes place in 55 minutes. If you look at that tweet, it links to China, Evergrande and its units suspend trading in Hong Kong. But then there's also another tweet in there where it looks like China is going to be doing something like $10 billion worth of buybacks. Yeah.
China, did you say China, the government?
Well, I would assume it's they're having their economy. They're having their economy starting to do buybacks out of what appears to be the American economy. I'm trying to look for a specific article for it, but I don't see it. Here it is. There's a Chinese firm announces 10 billion yuan of shares of buybacks. CSJ. I'd have to.
So is that one company? One company's doing buybacks? I'm still not following.
I actually don't know. Like I said, this is brand new breaking, and I've just started to see this. So
take a second. Take a second and read that, and come back and let us know. And I'm going to let Froggy talk about what because I think that could be important, KC, if you got it pulled up there. Froggy, what news have you seen this weekend? Guys, I've been out of the loop for 7 days, so I need your help catching me up. What are you seeing for next week? And what did you catch wind of this weekend that gives you a up or down signal for next week?
Well, I think we're going to go higher. If you see what happened with GME, earnings came in horrible and they popped up. So to me, that made no sense, because it's the complete opposite of what you thought would have happened. It's not like they missed by a little bit. They missed by a lot. I thought people from GME were going to hop over and then jump into AMC because it looks stronger, because really, but I'm still thinking that we're going to get a push because there's divergence between the two stocks. And I think that there's a little bit more gap up for AMC. So I'm expecting this to get up to like 1650 or 1660 first thing Monday, Tuesday.
It was pretty interesting to see that rise on Friday, and then even in after hours, it went up to $16, didn't it, on Friday?
I think it just scratched it. It stopped right there for some reason.
And I fear you may be over optimistic that GameStop stockholders, the GameStop apes, for lack of a better word, would abandon that for AMC. That, you know, those guys are as diehard as we are. If you're deep in GameStop, you're going to stay in GameStop. I was disappointed with the GameStop earnings, but I was disappointed to see it dive after that earnings call. But man, it came roaring back the next morning, didn't it? That was it made my heart warm. What else? I had another question.
I'll give
Casey,
you
did you
a.
come up with?
I haven't. I'm still searching, but I'm gonna go ahead and give you my outlook for this next week.
Yeah.
I've kind of been following the VIX for a while now, and I see some high amounts of volatility in the VIX, and I feel like it's looking, the overall market's looking like it's being propped up by something. Something is keeping it afloat right now, and it wants to break out. One of the things I had mentioned in a chat comment, and I think you might have taken it just a little bit wrong, just because maybe you just don't know me or anything. But I was trying to ask you guys a question about the VIX the other last week. What I was trying to get at is that I've never seen in all the years that I've been trading, I've never seen 4 or 5 red ascending candlesticks in a row, ascending red candlesticks. And it was one of those moments where when I saw that on the VIX, I was like, wait a minute, that's there should be a green in there somewhere. You can't, how do you go up and have red? And so, you know, something is propping up our market right now. And I do think that a big market crash is coming. I'm not going to say it's happening like right now or anything, but I see something that's happening. There's definitely an entity that's propping up our economy, and I think that if we do see a failure, if we start to see a failure in the markets, which we started to see last week with a bunch of push towards gold and oil and a lot of other commodities, if that starts to happen again, that could be the catalyst that leads into AMC really starting to rip and those margin calls starting to happen. Do I think this week? I'm kind of iffy on it. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to say week over week, we probably end green this week. I'm thinking that's going to be that's what my prediction is for this week. I don't know how much. It may only be pennies, but I do think it's going to be green week over week.
Chad is mentioning in the chat about the plunge protection team. What are you thinking, that maybe they are one of the ones that's having, propping this thing up?
Possibly. I mean, how do we find proof for that? I really don't know, because usually the articles about them meeting and doing something usually come out quarter or more later. So I don't know how we would be looking for that, or how you could find signs of that being the case. I've tried to look to see who's a part of the specific members of the PPT to see if there was a way to find out if they were meeting somehow. But I just don't know. I don't know how to do that.
That's why I don't talk about them a whole lot either, because I like to talk about things that I can have evidence of. Otherwise, I'm just speculating. But there are a couple of YouTubers that are doing some great coverage of this, so I just defer to them and I'll let them cover it because they get excited about it, and they've done far more research into it than me.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's the Fed.
Go ahead, Froggy.
If you check the Fed balance sheet, they're putting in like $9 trillion. So I'm pretty sure that's who's propping it up. You can't fight the Fed when they're trying to pump money in.
All right. Did you have one other follow-up comment, Casey, on that?
I was just saying, was that AMC Bigums? Is that who you were referencing with the?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I love AMC Bigums, and
me too.
He has an invite for tonight. And one thing I like about Boss Blunts and Bigums and every content creator, it's kind of like I said in the video that I put out earlier this afternoon. Everybody brings different strengths and areas of interest to the table. None of us know everything. None of us even have the time to dig into everything. So I love that everybody works together and puts this information out there, and we can do this brain share of information. All right. I'm going to add in the Masalorian. Are you ready to go on live?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Welcome. Good to see
Welcome.
you again.
How's everyone doing?
And
good,
for
man.
those of you that are in the waiting room, I'm going to bring in people in the stream tonight. But if you haven't been on the open mic, if this is your first time joining this little group, some of you will be in the waiting room. John Wick Sniping's waiting. John, you're going to get on here in just a second, but I don't want the entire screen to be filled with 8 people not talking. So we might do some rotating. If you're not on screen, don't take that as a anything negative, but I'm just trying to keep the screen visible for the viewers, and I'll rotate people in and out. Does that sound fair?
Yep.
But you guys who have been here before, you're always going to be on here, but this is more for the newer folks. Maybe if it's your very, very first time doing an open mic. So not trying to slight anybody. I just want to keep the stream flowing smoothly and looking good for the viewers so they can see who's talking. Masalorian, the leading question of tonight is in a positive note, starting off on a positive note. At this point in March 2022, why are you holding this stock and why do you still like it?
So I'm holding for everyone out there that has been in this play, no matter what price you got at. If you are still holding as of tomorrow morning when the bell rings, I'm holding for all those people. And my dream is this money will set me up so that I can, after this is over, I'd like to travel. I'd like to report on news and be able to cover live news stories from around the world. And this would give me the ability to do that. And I'd like to set up some of my family for the future and not have to worry about the price of homes right now. So I have a couple reasons why. But my one main reason is to give back to everyone that's given to me. And that's been in this play as long as I have, because I know the struggle we've been through. So.
Very good. And the second question that I've asked folks right before you came on is, do you have any thoughts that you want to share with us? We're not going to hold you accountable because this is not financial advice, but based on any news that you've seen this weekend, any chart analysis that you did last week, do you have any thoughts that you want to share about where we're going next week in the market or in AMC?
So I'm hoping that everything that's terrible that's happened in the market has already been factored in. I'm hoping that there are no new developments in the next 24 hours. And really, I hope that things are actually, I have a small understanding that possibly there's a lot of negotiating going on over in the Ukrainian area. And I'm hoping things kind of calm down with that a little bit. And now with, the rate hike in place and the market becoming a little more realistic, I'm hoping that maybe we'll start to see some money come back into meme stocks, into fintech, into some of these stocks that have been abandoned, or just gotten destroyed over the last 3 to 4 months. So I'm being optimistic in that way and hoping that AMC will follow with the rest of them.
I was while I was out last week, I was really excited to see that the Fed rate hike only came in at a quarter point. That was like the best possible outcome of the concerns that we had, and best possible, and also, in my thoughts, the most likely. And what we really didn't want was a surprise, right? And we didn't get a surprise. So where I'm for my own thoughts about next week, the only real possible yellow light that we have is this unknown Russia-Ukraine situation. Other than that, I feel like we're in pretty good shape to have a green week next week. I'm going to add in John Wick. John, there he is. John, how you doing tonight?
Not well. I've been waiting in that room all this time. I can't believe you had me waiting in there. What are you running here? How you
John,
guys
welcome
doing,
to the
man?
channel. I've seen you and I've participated on a lot of lives. I can't remember. Have you been on one of my lives yet?
I have not. I was a virgin, and now you have taken it from me. So
Oh,
I'm
boy.
happy to be here.
You're not the first.
Been
might be the
deflowered.
last.
I'm
Hey,
deflowered.
John, tell us why are you holding the stock? What do you like about AMC? Let's start off on a positive note with everybody tonight before we get into a bunch of questions from the audience.
Well, I want to keep it positive. I'll be honest with you. I'm not here to even engage in any of that. But to answer your question, I hold because I see more than just a stock in this situation. I see the future of the stock market in this play. If it does not come to fruition for everybody, then a big decision will have to be made from the whole community on whether or not this is the place you want to continue to invest in to grow your money. So that's first and foremost. Well, no, that's not first. That's second. First and foremost, I want us to make a lot of money. That's why we're ultimately here. But if we don't get that, then I definitely want to see some change in the stock market going forward. If not, it's just not going to be a place for me to invest my money. So,
And before I get into the next question, I'm going to prep you other three with a question for you to be thinking about. And this is open format, John. I'm going to come back to you and ask part two in just a second, but I want these other guys to have a second to think about this. I'm going to come ask you other three. What is your pet issue, the number one thing that you want to talk about? What is important to you in terms of AMC that you want to get your voice out to the audience tonight? So I'm going to come back to you three in just a second with that question. But John, the second question for you that I've already asked the other gentleman is based on last week's price action, any news you saw over this weekend, and what are your thoughts for the market and for AMC next week?
Listen, I don't see anything in my book that I can consider a catalyst to move this. I honestly think the war will continue to escalate and potentially have another impact on our markets. So I've actually have some dry powder waiting on deck just in case I've got to put in some more money into AMC and continuously average down. So that's where I'm going to be, but I have not seen anything further that would indicate that something is going to get this squeeze going. And you know that I've said in previous videos that my strong feeling is that action will probably have to be taken in this particular play in order to induce this squeeze potentially. So I want to be wrong. It's an easy statement for me to make because if I'm wrong, I get paid and you don't have to hear my opinions anymore. But if I'm right, then we will have to take action because there's clearly something going on here. And we've been waiting a long, long time. And the Masalorian has accepted the challenge to edit the video presented in my video challenge. And I think I've gotten up to about 60 people, and I know more are coming along. So once he has that ready, why not have that in our back pocket while we sit around and wait? That's where I'm at.
Very good. And I like to hear that you have dry powder. I heard the Marine asking last week, where are you guys getting all this dry powder? I feel bad for people that don't have dry powder, and I understand not everybody does. My own dry powder stores vary from week to week, but it's nice having it when you need it.
Right. I'll come out and say I invested a little bit of money, nothing to do with my AMC. I have my shares there. They have not moved, but I did chase the Mullen stock, and I got in at 172 and got out at 305. So that's where my dry powder came from, and that
nice.
dry powder is going into AMC.
Mine just comes like working from a madman and pissing Scarlett off for working 20 hours a day.
No.
All right, KC. Hopefully you had a minute to think about what your number one issue is that you want to communicate to people on the stream tonight. This is your moment to shine. What is something that's specific to KC Shaw's channel or your own area of interest related to AMC that you'd like the folks to hear from you?
There's been talk about John, basically what you were talking about, but instead of having dry powder, people exiting some of their AMC position in order to try and make some extra money and then coming back to AMC. And what I would probably like to remind people more than anything, there's two things specifically. Number one, capital gains tax. If you've been holding AMC shares for a year, then you lose that if you sell out. You lose that capital gains tax exemption. Well, some of it. You get into a higher bracket when you go out and then you come back in. So if you've gotten to that point to where you've been holding for a year, of course, not tax advice or anything like that, but you could potentially try and reduce by not selling AMC shares. Now, the second part to that is that I did a very heavy analysis of GME's squeeze, also some of Tesla's squeeze, and also VW. And I'm gonna present to you guys just something that I wrote on Twitter real quick here, because I think this is a really kind of important idea that people need to kind of keep in mind. So let me give you a scenario. If you sell a stock on Monday, those funds will only be ready by Wednesday. If you invest that money into a play on Wednesday, but immediately need to get it back into your original investment, you won't have that money until Friday. As you can see, due to T+2 settlement times, a decision to sell AMC and get back in can take up to a week or 5 business trading days. GME was $17.08 on January 8th. By 1 week later, or 5 trading days later, on 1/14, the price was $42.61. If you made nothing on your money and you just simply transferred out, transferred in another stock, had to transfer right back out really fast because you saw AMC started ripping, and then transferred back in, you would go from 100 shares. Let's just say you sold 100 shares. You would go from 100 shares down to 40 shares just from making that move, because you would be missing out on the price discovery during that period of time. So I want everybody to think about that, because there's been a lot of talk about this stuff, about trying to buy or sell, and then trying to gain some money on the side, and then buying back in. Be very, very careful and understand that there's tax implications for all of your purchases and sell orders, all of them. Well, I should just say the sell orders, but there is tax implications for that. So do realize that.
I think I heard you say that on Saturday, and I was just like clapping while I was driving. Like, nobody's talking about the tax ramifications of selling, and then you're gonna just go buy back in a week, and you just cost yourself. If you were up, anyways, you cost yourself short-term capital gains potentially, depending on when you bought in, and if you were up. I love that. Next, let's do Froggy. You were on next. So what is your hot button issue that you want folks to hear about today?
I worry about the exact same thing. People being talked into selling to go play other plays. Leave your main positions alone. And if any money that you do want to spend the incoming money and play with that. Don't take your main position and screw yourself because you bought that dip. What's going to happen when it starts ripping? You're going to FOMO in and just basically feed the beast. Like, just leave it alone. It's safe right where it's at. That's the reason why this play has worked out. That buy and hold has been a winning strategy. They can't trick you into making them money when they can't get you to move. They need you to move in order for them to gain any benefit. So if you're going to invest any money, that's what I do. My incoming money, I flip it around and then I just put it right back into stock. Next week I had more money. I flip it around, put it back into stock, and all my incoming money is the only thing that I play with. And the tax thing, that's definitely important for all these people that have been holding for a year. Why sell now and get put in a different tax bracket? Like it's like a lose-lose strategy to sell and flip when you have that 1 year mark under your belt.
Very good. Masalorian.
So I just want to say real quick before I jump on anything else, in the chat, someone said that they are about to lose their house. They got 3 months before they need this to MOAS. And whoever you were in the chat, You are one of the people I am holding for this exact type of thing. So I don't know who that was in the chat. I can't find it now. I saw it back here. But as far as AMC goes, what am I looking forward to this week coming up? Is that what you were asking me? I'm sorry.
What is your hot button issue? Anything that is important to you or your channel relative to AMC? This is kind of like, this is your open mic moment. What do you want to say to the folks that you care about, maybe that you're following or that you're covering that other people are not?
So I want to make one thing clear, and I think everyone on this panel would probably agree with me when I say this. But if you have a certain situation that you're in as an individual, as a retail investor, as an AMC ape, and you have money set aside for AMC, you have your shares put away, you have a certain amount, maybe you can't add to that position at all because you're strapped right now for cash. And with inflation, I get it. And a lot of us understand. It's only the super elites who don't. Everyone else knows the boat that you're in. If something happens and you need to sell some of your AMC to support anything, whether it be family or whatever the case may be, it's nobody's business but yours. There's no need to go around and announce it, any of that. People will understand, and it won't even be a blip on the radar. So all this nonsense talk about everyone saying that, we're saying that no one can sell and don't ever touch your shares and any of that. That's never come off from my channel, and I've never heard any of you gentlemen say it either. So all I would say is, if you're in a desperate situation and you need to go to AMC in order to make yourself whole again, then that's what you got to do. And, the rest of us are here to try to pick up that slack. So don't take that don't be concerned about that. You take care of what you got to take care of. The rest will fall into place.
Yep. I think that is important to make sure that is acknowledged. Like, number one, you have to watch out for yourself, and you don't want to get in a position where you have a house foreclosed on. Nothing is more important than that. No stock is more important than that. All right. John Wick sniping. Any hot button issues for John?
Yeah, I want to announce that tomorrow I will be making a very, very interesting video right around the same time I drop my videos, around 11 a.m. It is going to be one of my most important videos. It is going to be probably my most interesting videos. You're not going to want to miss that, because there's going to be a move that I make that I'm not going to announce tonight on this live. You will have to watch it tomorrow, but just be prepared, because tomorrow is going to be probably the most interesting video that I've made to date, and I know I've made some very interesting ones so far. That's my hot button.
All right, so keep an eye out on John's channel tomorrow. Then let's I saved some comments. Let me bring them up here. Hang on one second. Let's see. Someone said, what about taxes? Stephanie said, what about taxes when you sell for a loss? Who considers themselves the tax expert?
Not
Don't look at me.
Not my wheelhouse.
Me either.
when you sell at a loss, I'll just field this one. When you sell at a loss, that at the end of the year, you're going to add up all your gains and losses, right? And you're going to be either at a gain for the year or a loss for the year. So if this was your only position and you sold at a loss, you're going to have a loss for the year. Then you go sit down with your CPA or accountant or TurboTax, and that will input into a certain field in your tax form. There's a certain limit of losses that you can claim each year, and anything beyond that will be carried over to future years. So if you sell at a loss and plan on buying back in, then especially if you're doing it in less than 30 days, then you have that, what's it called, guys? When you sell a stock at a loss and you buy right back in, shit, I can't think of it right now.
A wash.
Wash sale. Thank you. And the broker will adjust your basis so that loss actually did not do you any favors in terms of taxes. So if you are selling at a loss and thinking you're going to just buy right back in and get some tax advantage, make sure you're waiting at least 30 days. If you didn't know about that, go read up on wash sales. All right. Second question that I saved was from Maggie. Can we talk about HYMC? That was actually one that I wanted to spin around the panel because I think we all talked about it. I think I made a video. That was the one video I made while I was out on vacation. And to be honest, I haven't watched any other videos or read anything else about HYMC, Hycroft Mining, since Monday of last week. Tell me, guys, raise your hand and I'll put you on the big screen. Have you heard anything new other than what we talked about, like in the last 24 hours after it was announced? Anybody have anything new since then?
No.
Who all's done a video? If you've done a video on HYMC that you want people to go watch, just raise your hand. I have one on my channel. I have nothing new to say about it other than that. I'm neutral on it. I'm not buying it. And it could potentially long-term be good for the company. Could there be some shenanigans? Hey, there could be some shenanigans. I have no evidence of that. I see what people are pointing out, but I also see some potential future benefit.
Where aren't there shenanigans?
Right? Anyone else have anything different that you want to add about HYMC?
I'm trying to look for Adam Aaron's his quote exactly about the announcement of buying. One of the things that he had said is that they had researched into HYMC and saw that it was much like, I'm paraphrasing here, much like AMC was a year ago when the Ape movement had moved in to help save AMC. And the interesting thing that was, picked up about that is the fact that Adam Aaron may have inadvertently, I don't know if you've taken a look at some of their numbers, but he may have inadvertently or purposefully purchased into a stock to try and do the same thing that we're trying to do with AMC, almost as if he's creating a squeeze play within a squeeze play.
Are you saying by leveraging our buying power or just with himself and was it Eric Strout? I forget his name.
Just with his buying power. If you go and you look at, apparently they bought more than just 22%. I haven't seen the exact numbers yet on how much. I've heard some people say as much as 32%. There's I forget what the terminology is, but there's a certain type of contract or something that comes with their position that they bought into, which increases
they got warrants, right?
Warrants. Thank you.
Yes. Yep.
And so that would actually increase their actual shareholding, which is much higher. Somebody's writing 35 in here. I don't remember what the exact number was, but I think that's very interesting. A squeeze play within a squeeze play. If that, I mean, this is all speculative and we don't know if it's actually going to happen, but there are numbers there that suggest one of the ways that I kind of look to see if a company is highly shorted or not is I take a look at their average 3-month volume and I divide it by your free float. When you do that, you'll come up with a percentage. That percentage, if it's over 6%, usually will typically tell you that a company has a lot of synthetic volume. And you can take a look at like other companies that are out there, for example, like Amazon. It should be about 1%. Your total volume should be about 1 to maybe 3% at the most of total volume being traded of your entire float. And so when you go out and you look at how much volume has been trading on an average 3-month basis for HYMC, it's higher than 6%. I think it's actually, I'll have to pull up the numbers here and tell you. Give me 1 second. So their average 3-month volume is 23 million and 23.24 million. Their free float is 59.8 million. So they're dang near almost 50% of their volume being traded or they're 50% of their total free float almost being traded on a daily basis. It's a little bit less than that, but not much, which is really, really super high, which could be an indicator that there's a lot of synthetic volume out there.
Yeah, it could be, or I was also thinking it could be an indicator that there's just a lot of retail FOMO churn going on in that stock. Who knows? It's going to be really interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up. Hopefully, if you have time to dig into it a little more, you can. Well, do you do topical videos, or you just do the live streams?
Just the live streams. I'm
All right, well,
documenting history.
Please keep us updated with your thoughts on that. Specifically, I think in the email group that we have, or for any of you other guys that care to dig into that, I think that is a really good topic to look into. I had not heard that.
So I don't know if anyone cares, but there's a little DD that's been done on some of the stats historically from the mine. Do you want me to run through that real quick? Just a little couple notes I have here.
Yeah. For Maggie and anyone else that wants to know our updated thoughts on HYMC, let's run through that real quick.
So for Highcroft's only mine that they own has been in and out of operation apparently for several decades. Most of the easy oxide ore was mined throughout the 80s and 90s. While there are meaningful amounts of gold in the ground, it's predominantly difficult sulfide ore, and the concentration of gold is rather low. In other words, it's a low-grade refractory deposit, I guess is the term that they use for this type of mine, the Highcroft mine in Nevada, for where it's very difficult to extract gold in a way that can make you profitable. But the silver could possibly make up for the lack in gold because of how many times over the amount is there.
Masalorian, I don't know if you're seeing the comment from John that your live chat is off. So guys, I'm hosting the stream, and if a content creator is pairing the stream on their channel so you can watch it on their channel, it's up to them to go into their YouTube settings and turn on chat if you want to chat in their channel. So no one's turned off anyone's chat, but
yeah, it
maybe
looks like my chat's up and running.
Maybe they forgot to turn it on in their own YouTube channel. So thanks for commenting that, and we'll get that fixed, but I can't control it from my side. All right. Other question. Next question. Doc Zeno says, could you discuss levels of opaqueness of OBV and buy sell indicators for trying to decipher levels of actual retail holding and selling? So I don't really watch on balance volume. If anyone cares to field that, it's not an indicator that I really look at, and I would not be the right person to answer that question. Any of you guys report on or talk about OBV in your daily streams that you want to field this one? Casey, are you talking?
Sorry, yeah. Whew, I got mic problems over here. I got to remember to keep turning it back on. So I do cover OBV. On balance volume can be a very good indicator to kind of look at whether or not volume is indicative of the price movement, if it's moving in accordance to how price movement is happening. So I can't really, I don't know if I can screen share on here. I don't think that I can, but
you can if you hit the little monitor tab with an up arrow.
Okay.
For share screen.
Okay, it lets me share my screen. That's cool. Awesome.
And then you might need to click on the screen that pops up above that.
Yeah, let me get
say this is the one I want to share.
Give me just 1 second. No, actually, this is the one that I had. This is kind of a messy chart here, so I'm gonna try and get rid of most of the junk that I've got on it. But let's go ahead and try this. All right. So
all right. I see it. Hang on 1 second. Let me put it up in for everybody to see here.
So what I've done here, and I actually kind of I did this. People wanted to see how this is done, how you can get OBV on here, so you can see it in contrast to price movement. What I, and I can kind of take us through that and and kind of give you an idea. But you can move price independently of OBV. You can shrink them and modify them so that they move accordingly. For example, I can get price movement in here to kind of match up with volume from a couple days past. Let me get this, see if I can get it just right. So you see here, volume back here in December, January period of time, and you can see that there was an actual indeed sell-off because it was moving down during that period of time. Now, you'll also notice that back here, the volume was much, much lower, but price was higher. So really what you have to do to kind of put all this stuff into perspective is you really have to kind of go backwards in time and you have to kind of line things up and say like, okay, now from this point in time, yes, people's off during this period of time. You can still see that that's apparent. But what the bigger picture here is that the total amount of volume that disappeared was not as great as the price that was falling. So you actually have deflated price compared to where your volume actually moved to, meaning it didn't really support the amount of the volume movement didn't really support the price failure that we had during that period of time. So one of the best ways to really kind of show this is like setting this up as a histogram, which I can do. Let's see, style, histogram. And so it gets kind of tricky a little bit, but you can actually, you can shrink OBV. You can zoom way out and you can see OBV and where it was from the past, and then you can really shrink price down and you can really line things up from the past on where it was at and what happened during those periods of time. And what you're going to see here is as I line everything up here and I get it to match up with on balance volume from where it was first, the lowest point, and that's almost about right there. So what you're going to see here is you're going to see that price moved up. This is January right here. Price moved up and volume went with it. Volume went up during that period of time, but then as soon as price came back down, volume suggests everybody was still holding, even though the price fell back down. So volume's still holding here. So what you have is a deflated price. So price has to have a correction. So it moves back up and it tries to come back into balance, and it overcorrects. And price has been coming down ever since, and it's finally broken past the point to where now price is kind of below volume again. And so it's a deflated price. So this is overinflated price. This is underinflated price. Price needs to come back up to meet volume levels. So you can definitely see where there's people who are selling off during these periods of time where it starts to dip. And when I say people, I'm not necessarily talking about retail. I'm talking about institutions as well. So somebody's selling, and you can see it in the volume. But as it stands right now, I wouldn't say that there's any kind of suggestion that there's retail or institutions that are selling over this last few days of trading. For the most part, I mean,
very fascinating. I've never looked at that, and that explains it perfectly, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you did this with something like Amazon, it's absolutely amazing to see, because Amazon's price is so overinflated from where their volume currently is at, their on balance volume, that they have had a couple massive corrections in price to come back down and meet up with on balance volume. But for the most part, they are super overinflated in price, which means that they need to have a huge correction to come back down where their current on balance volume is. You can do this with a lot of different stocks and look it up and just kind of see how it looks. I showed you guys with this on balance volume on the same page here. It doesn't naturally come like that. If you want to search this indicator out, you have to go to the indicators and you have to just type in OBV and it'll pop up on balance volume. It'll put it down below, right down here, and you just move it up to the slide that's just underneath where your price line is. And then what you can do from there is you can tell it to, you can go into the settings over here and you just tell it to, I'm sorry, the triple dots. Go to the triple dots and tell it to move to existing pane above. Once you've moved it to the existing pane above, then you can just, it now has the OBV up here. You can come up here into the settings, and right here for on balance volume, you have this little, I don't know what that doohickey is, but you click on that and it says histogram. You can click that and then you get this histogram looking chart. And then you have to kind of play with it. The right-hand side adjusts price and the left-hand side adjusts the volume. And you have to just kind of try and fit the volume into like a previously known like stable period of time where on balance volume was very stable. Try to find a period like that and then adjust both the volume and the price to try and fit those in together so you can see where you have the over. Because I mean, you could definitely play with these charts and make it look however you want to, but you really want to get that price and that volume to match up as best as possible from a very stable point in time, and then you'll get a good picture for where the on balance volume is in contrast to the rest. And you can see how price fell down right here, and it tried to correct. It came down, touched almost exactly where it was supposed to be on balance volume, had a correction, came back down, overcorrected, and now more than likely is the crack up.
Thank you for that. That is a great indicator that I think I need to start taking a look at. So great question, Doc Zeno. KC, thank you for the explanation. Next question I have is from myself. And that is, can you, I don't know if I'm going to be the one to answer this. Froggy, I'm probably let you answer it. Can you talk about the good a town hall meeting would do? Also, what level of organization that they would need and the cost to arrange something like that? I know CSI is talking about doing, I don't know if it's a real town hall or a virtual town hall. Froggy, do you have any details on that? Because I do not.
I don't know much about it, but I mean, I think it's a good idea that we actually do communicate in some formal way. And if this does help, I mean, cool. I mean, I'm not against it at all. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, there's no negative side to it. Any effort's going to be positive effort, I would think.
Thank you for that. Lupe, let's see, got a question from Lupe. I agree with your comments about the Plunge protection team. I can't believe it's not discussed except by Boss Blunts. If they would only Google it, they would see the appointees. I have Googled the Plunge protection team because I'm naturally curious, and I read a few articles about it. I can only share with you what I read. I read that it is indeterminate whether or not they are actually having an effect, but it is suspected that they're having an effect. So until I've had time to come up with some real evidence for me, at this point, I'm still in my own research shows that it's only speculation. I could be wrong. I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm just telling you what I was able to come up with. And I'll leave the floor open to any of you on the panel. If you, Boss Blunts was invited to the stream tonight, by the way. I'd love to have him talk about it, or AMC Bigums. He said he might join on tonight because I'm not the expert on that, and I'd rather someone who's digging into it share you details. All I have is I couldn't come up with enough to talk about it on my channel.
Can I ask a question?
KC, go ahead, KC.
I just wanted to just kind of ask the whole panel here, like, let's just assume for a minute the price protection or the price plunge team is protecting the price of the entire market. How do you guys think that's? Do you agree with that, or do you think that's? Do you think that in order to correct for inflation, that they should just let it take natural course?
I think there's definitely a plunge protection team, right? There's no doubt about that. And we can all go see what positions were appointed to that. That is not in dispute. The extent to which they are protecting the market is the question I have. Are the big dips followed by these weird bounces up on no news? Is that evidence of the plunge protection team getting involved, or was it just natural market movement. That is where I'm still personally uncertain. So I'd just prefer not to answer because I don't know. Anybody else?
I'm just going to jump in real quick and say that, so I've talked with him about this through email. We've discussed it a couple times.
With who?
With Boss.
Gotcha. Okay.
And this and the EO, and we're working on doing something about that right now. So you will see some type of back and forth discussion about those two subjects very shortly. Just still doing more research, basically.
I'd love to learn more about it. And it's just one of those things where, you know, there's only so much time in the day to look up so many things. And Boss and Bigham's are covering it so well. I don't feel the need to duplicate everybody's work. If someone's knocking it out of the park, then I let them run with it, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully, Lupe, that answered your question. Maggie had a question. Is the ApeCoin from Adam Aaron, or did someone jump on the bandwagon? I know that there are a variety of different coins out there. ApeCoin, I don't think, is from Adam Aaron. He hasn't announced the crypto coin. And there's an AMC coin, there's a butter coin, there's a pop coin, there's all sorts of similar sounding coins. I think ApeCoin is just getting a little bit of FOMO pump right now, not related to AMC. Anybody have any different opinion?
Well, somebody just said BS coin. That's a good one.
There's also a tokenized stock for AMC and GameStop, which are run by some outfit in Germany. If you don't have access to an exchange, you can buy these tokenized stocks. Those are also not run by AMC and GameStop. Just to head off that question.
Tony, now it's just, so many cut you off, but now it's saying both of our chats are off. Mine and yours.
I'm watching mine over here on the right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The chat was off in live stream while KC was putting his chart up, just because I wanted to give the chart a big screen. But like on my YouTube channel, chat's still running. Also, guys, I didn't tell you, and that's my fault. I'm going to update my instructions. But when you're streaming it on your channel, also, I think it might be a good rule for everybody to, number one, enable chat on your channel and put it in slow mode, 60 seconds. So we don't get people asking the same question every 5 seconds. We see your questions, guys. We can't answer every question every 5 seconds because it takes us a minute to go through. So please don't spam the chat asking the same question over and over. But if it's really important, you know, feel free to ask it every few minutes. I have the ability to pin questions so I can come back to them. And if it was a good question, I'm pinning it and I bring it back up. And for you creators, I'll show you how to pin comments so you guys can do that too.
I'm not a huge cryptocurrency kind of guy, but I'm kind of curious. Is there any other stable coins that you guys know of?
I don't buy stable coins, but there are several stable coins, right?
How do they perform in contrast to, say, like Bitcoin?
Well, they're supposed to be stable versus the dollar, is my understanding, which is why I don't buy them. If I'm wrong, guys, shout at me in chat.
No, I believe that's correct.
So if the thought process is that Adam Aaron's going to create a stable coin and link it to a gold NFT or something having to do with the gold and the gold mine, does that make it basically a stable coin and it's going to be stable based off of gold? And if the market's crashing, then could it potentially have more value because of the fact that it's a stable coin tied to gold?
I heard about that. Interesting.
I've heard some people talking about a crypto coin or a dividend tied to gold. I'm not going to comment on that myself tonight.
That's all right. It's okay. I'm not going to tie you to anything.
Think, I just think they got to get some gold out of the ground in volume before they go down that road. And he's not even a majority shareholder of the company, so of HYMC. So I don't know.
Good point.
I don't know
sir.
which one of y'all's channel I heard that discussed on. Did one of you guys cover that? I thought it was a good point. Someone on YouTube was saying, and I agree, Adam's not even a majority shareholder of HYMC. So what power would he have to issue any gold dividend? I don't know. There'll be more discussion on it. Don't worry. If you're interested in that, we're not done talking about it. I'm just not prepared to talk about it tonight myself. Anyone else want to jump in on that one? No takers? All right. Let's see. I'm out of pinned comments, so I'm looking for the next question. If anyone else has something they want to jump in with, feel free. And thank you for letting us know about ApeCoin, developed by Bored Apes Yacht Club, largest NFT. All yacht club owners got thousands of free ape coins. I did not know that. I've seen a lot of people tweeting and commenting on other channels about ApeCoin, but all I knew it was not from AMC.
I'll jump in and take the mic for a second. I kind of wanted to circle
Yeah, thank
back.
you. I'm going to go. I'm looking for a few other questions, so feel free to
Sure.
talk for a second. I'm going to line up a few more questions for you guys while you're talking.
Sure. I wanted to circle back to that initial question that was asked, why I hold AMC stock. So I hold AMC stock for those that hope to see this through and one day be able to show up to their 9 to 5 that they've been working at for year after year after year and walk up to their boss and say, peace, I'm out of here. I hold for you. I hold for those people that are driving what they probably would call a bucket type of a car like I do, and I just keep looking at that damn Tesla and all these gas prices. I hold for you. I hold for people that, or husbands that keep hearing from their wives, God, when are you going to give this up? When are you going to give this up? You know, you've been doing this for a year now. You know, we got all our money tied up, and their wives are working. I hold for you. I hold for those people that pitch this stock to family and friends, and those family and friends maybe bowed out and they said, man, you're crazy for holding this stock. I hold for you. I hold for you. So those are all the reasons, man. And I've got my own. I've got a wife that works 2 jobs, and you know, at this point she is up to her wits' end, working and working and working. And I'm just like, please, Lord, let this thing happen already. You know, I hold my stock because of that. I want to be able to approach her one day and say, you know what, get rid of both jobs. We're good. We'll be able to move on to your doing what you want with your life and how to, you know, make money in different ways. So I just want to, you know, shout out to everybody out there that's been in this game for a very, very long time. Now is not the time to quit. By no stretch of the imagination. I will work tirelessly to keep on thinking of ways that we can at least find the answers when this doesn't, you know, while we're waiting for this to squeeze. You know, there's no reason to just sit here and park, you know, our stock. We've been parked this whole time. So that's nothing new. But I will keep working as much as I can to try to look for any way we can induce this play and get it going, if that's even possible. And I'm hoping that this first attempt with the video clips that Mass is going to put together and possibly send over to John Stewart, maybe the SEC, Gary Gensler, Adam Aaron, whoever we've got to send it to, so that they can look at these faces, because these faces are the people I just spoke about. People that are driving cars that are falling apart, people that can't meet their bills because inflation is out of control and they're trying to figure out, shit, what am I going to do now? You know, like, I didn't have money before this. Now everything's 3 times more expensive. Like, I need some help. So I just wanted to state that. And I'll turn it back over.
All right, very good. Someone asked, did you ask Lou to come on the stream? Guys, Lou has an open invitation to come on any of our streams anytime he'd like. This was an open mic night. I tweeted it out this morning and again this evening. Many people responded. Not all of them have showed up, but I have never heard from Lou.
You had
Not
somebody
one
in there even
time.
claim that I was Lou with glasses, a hat, and a beard.
I saw that. I saw that.
I haven't laughed like that in a while. You got a COVID laugh out of me. Thank you.
Let's see. We had one from Bobby. Do you guys think we'll get buying pressure as people get their tax returns and buy in, and will it matter? I think that is a great question. I'm just going to say my thoughts real quick since I haven't answered a question recently. I think that we got a lot of benefit in 2021 from all the stimulus checks and people sitting at home with nothing to do. So there could be, yes, I allow that as a possibility. Depending on how big of a return people are getting, you could see some of that money going into the market if people don't have bills to pay with it. What do you guys think on the panel?
I'm sorry, can you refresh the question again?
Do you think that people getting tax refunds will contribute to any buying pressure for AMC or GameStop or stocks in general?
I honestly don't understand when buying ever became not the thing to do. So I clearly would agree that any money coming into the stock can't hurt. So if I get tax money, I'm going to buy more AMC. I'm still averaging down. I'm not there yet. So any chance that I get in order, to average my costs down per share, I'm doing that. So if I get a couple $1,000s on my return, I will be able to invest more money into AMC. I'm somewhere in the low 20s on average. So I still have plenty of time, as it seems right now, to average down, get myself somewhere in the 17, 18 area. So I think, yes, I think that will definitely help and, at least organically raise the price a little bit, even if it's not part of the squeeze.
Froggy, what do you think?
I think it will definitely make a difference. I mean, it only makes sense that it could go like the buying pressure is what's going to drive the price up or hold it where it's at. So 100% that I think that income tax checks are going to make a difference.
KC, any thoughts? I love these impromptu questions where you guys are making us think on the fly.
It's a tough question for me, and the reason I say that is everybody's seeing gas prices going up right now. I just saw a tweet from somebody earlier that said they started listing off the prices for everything that they're paying in the store right now, and it sounded outrageous. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's going to help or not. But I do believe that there will be people who will use some of that money towards buying more shares. If it'll be as big of an impact as we think, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see it. I mean, it probably won't be all in one specific day, since people can get their returns at any different specific times. It's not like just on one date.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it would be coming in different amounts at different times, and it's hard to say. It's a really difficult question, but I've heard it's got to help. It's got to help in some way, but I don't know how much though.
I actually heard one YouTuber postulating that April 15th is the magic date now because of tax returns or tax filings or whatever. But exactly like you said, people get their tax returns on a wide variety of dates depending on when they filed and how fast returns get processed. So I don't know how you could tie anything to April 15th based on tax season.
And I would wager to say that the people who are getting money back probably got it earlier than later.
True. You file late because you probably owe. You file early because you're getting money.
Exactly.
So
yeah, if we know we're gonna owe, my CPA's filing extensions already. It's not
exactly.
All right, yeah. Masalorian, do you want to take a whack at that question?
Maybe just a different take. I think last year, was someone trying to compare it to last year? To 2021? Was that the original statement?
Do you think that tax returns, tax refunds for this year that people are receiving now or over the next few weeks or months are going to add any buying pressure to the stocks that we're talking about today, AMC and GameStop?
I mean, not in a coordinated effort, right? Everyone's going to file at different times, get checks back at different times. Some people don't have state and federal. Some people have both. The only thing I would say to that is you may see a little difference compared to last year, January to April, because last year school loans were getting deferred. So if you had federal taxes that you owned, you were not having to pay back your student loans. You're getting to keep that money. So that was extra cash coming in. You had $1,600 in stimulus coming in from the $1.5 trillion plan that they passed, or 1.2, whatever it was. You also had the added $300 per week for federal stimulus to those who were unemployed. I think a lot of people had a lot more dry powder per se to throw around back then, and maybe why we saw all of that buying pressure, or why we saw a good amount of it back then compared to 2022. I think will be very different.
Great point. Great point. Well said.
Yep. All right. Next question that I pinned from BioLife Hemp. Welcome back. I know you're a regular viewer on everybody's channel. We appreciate all of your support, guys, viewers that are watching tonight, admins, mods, every single one of you guys. I got a cat trying to walk in front of my camera here. BioLife says, with closing candles Friday on AMC, do you think it will carry over to tomorrow? I'm on close. I'm assuming you meant on close on Friday. So Masalorian, you're still up on the big screen. You want to talk about that one, and then I'll rotate everybody in.
Yeah, let me just take a peeky weeky at this chart. I'm curious to see how we finished out the day on Friday. I haven't looked at the.
I think
after hours, I think we ran up to $16.
Right. That's what I think he's talking.
1605. Okay. So we finished the day up, what, 6.5%? 6.6%. Number coming up everywhere. Do I think that will carry over onto Monday? I hope so, right? I hope that we carry right over to Monday, to tomorrow. I hope that we see this cyclical action we've been waiting for, this flow out of blue chips back into some of the smaller cap stocks. Maybe they're going to try to get one more pump out of this before everything goes to shit. I don't know. I have a feeling that they might try. So I'm keeping my eye on the market. That's for sure. If we get a little bump right here, and most of my positions are all long-term holds anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. AMC, I'm hoping that we're going to see get pumped up with some other memes and maybe some money flowing back into some of the smaller cap stocks. I'm hoping.
I think, like I was saying earlier, my outlook for next week, I feel pretty positive right now. My only yellow light right now is watching what happens with Ukraine and Russia. That is really the only short-term destabilizer that I'm worried about for next week. John, do you have any thoughts about? I know we kind of covered this at the beginning of the stream, but now that we have the question back up here, do you want to talk about it again briefly?
Yeah. First and foremost, I do want to shout out to BioHemp. He did the video challenge. I saw it today, so I really appreciate what you did coming out, taking the time to do that. So now I can put a face to the person he's involved in a lot of our videos and comments and lives, and he said it in the video. He's everywhere. So I really appreciate him fully engaged as a viewer of our channels and our material. Having said that, I don't fall in love with anything that happens in pre-market or after hours. That is the time where most of the stock manipulation takes place. They run it up real green. They make you think, man, I better buy some of these shares as soon as possible. And then boom, on market open, it's blood red, and vice versa. You'll see red, and it turns you off, and you say, you know what, I'm not going to buy it. And then all of a sudden it spikes up maybe 5% or so, and you kick yourself in the pants and say, damn, I could have. That happened to me recently with AMC. It was tanking in pre-market or something like that, and I said, man, let me pick it up at 13 whatever, and then it jammed up on market open. So I don't fall in love with what happens in after hours. I don't know how much you can put into what's going to happen on a Monday. Mainstream media typically likes to run a lot of drama on Monday mornings. So whatever's happening in the war will be posted right away on Monday. And, that's always a particular catalyst that can drive stock momentum in the whole market. So whatever happened Friday night, to answer the question simply, I don't put much value on. It's great that it hit there, but unless you sold it at that point, what does it really matter? I think tomorrow will be a whole different ball game, starting from 4:30 in the morning in the pre-market, right up to the opening bell. You just can't put anything on it, in my opinion.
Casey or Froggy, do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I'll take this one. I was just looking at the chart right now. We had a gold cross on a daily. With that gold cross and with the RSI coming back up and the cash is flowing in, I think we're going to definitely trend higher. I just don't know how much on Monday, Tuesday, but I'm thinking like 1660, maybe even 17-ish Monday, Tuesday, and it could go way past that. I don't know, but we have momentum and trend on our side, so I think it's going to continue.
KC?
So my son and I worked, and I'm going to shout out credit to him just because I really love to give him credit wherever I can. He's an extremely intelligent junior in high school. But we worked together on a Excel program where we kind of took all the data from 114 of last year to 114 of this year. We compiled all the data together, and we looked to see, we were trying to see if there was patterns or if there was any specific days when we have specific movements based off of the previous days being a red or a green day. And all I'll say is that 40%, which is one of the highest numbers that we have over that 1 year period of tracking of data, 40% of the time when we have a red day, or sorry, a green day on Friday, we have a green Monday. That is the highest percentage that we have out of all of the numbers that are there. And it sounds really low. I know 40% sounds terrible, but considering the fact that it's one of the highest percentages, it's very strongly likely that we'll see a green day on Monday. And then the other part to that is I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the Ichimoku cloud. Have you ever heard of that before? Nobody?
No.
So the Ichimoku cloud is one of those. It's kind of it's a very popular, at least with people who are extremely wealthy day traders, is a extremely popular day trading indicator for making swing trades or even just day trades. But what I want to say is that if you take a look at the Ichimoku cloud indicator and see where we're at right now on the 1 hour time interval, we're actually at a very strong buy indicator for AMC on a 1 hour. The other part to that is that typically day traders look at it at a 1 hour and a 4 hour time interval. On the 4 hour time interval, we're actually in a inside of the cloud, the Ichimoku cloud itself, which means it's kind of a it's a point to where it's indecisive, where you probably shouldn't buy. The main rule for the Ichimoku cloud is that you are indicators that you never buy or buy the cloud. That's like the number one rule. So we are inside the cloud now. Exiting the cloud position tomorrow would be at a $16.62 range to at the beginning portion of the day to $16.18 by the end of the day. If we break out of the cloud, if we break over 16.18 by the end of the day on tomorrow, there's a very high chance that we're going to see large amounts of day trade pressure moving in and buying AMC shares, because that all the indicators that are here. You have the conversion line crossing over the baseline, and you also have the lagging line that's above the price line. Everything that you need is there. All the parts of the recipe are right there. So I really see some good movement as to where we're going. I was actually kind of surprised because I normally watch this indicator quite heavily, and I hadn't watched it, I think, for 2 or 3 days, and it got away from. Somebody asked me at the end of my stream on Friday, "Hey, look at the Ichimoku cloud and see." We actually call it the Ichimoto cloud on my channel, but just for fun. But they said, "Hey, let's take a look at the Ichimoto cloud and see where we're at." And so I pulled it up, and I was like, "Holy crap, we're looking really good right now." So we have some good indicators.
I just put it. What he's talking about is the Ichimoku cloud. If I say that Ichimoku, but we do have some people that are hard of hearing or deaf that are watching. So I like to spell out some things. It is in the chat there if you didn't understand what he's talking about. Thank you for that. Next question. Someone asked. Let's see, we can get rid of was Lou invited? Yes, Lou was invited. Someone said, let Pantheon on the channel. Guys, the invite went out to everybody I know. Everybody you know has been invited. Whether or not they came on is, depending on their own personal schedules. If their hair was looking good today, et cetera, et cetera. So
Casey, sorry.
Nobody has been excluded. Rest assured of that. Masalorian, were you trying to share a screen?
Yeah, I was just looking at that Ichimoto cloud, but someone wrote in the comments, ask Casey when he's finishing Winds of Winter. That's pretty funny.
Ask him what?
When he's finishing the Winds of Winter. I thought that was pretty funny.
Did you want me to put your screen share up?
I was just trying to look at what this Ichimoto. I'd never seen it before, the indicators on that. So I was gonna see, but I guess I can learn that on my own time. We don't take that up with the whole group.
Okay. Red Star says, is this a real open mic? Can we come up and ask a question? So I'm gonna start having some viewers come on my channel during the week. But tonight is for content creators. If you have a question that you want to ask, though, of anybody that's on the panel, just drop it in the chat and we'll get it up for people to talk about. So, yes, anybody can ask a question, and then we spend a few minutes answering your questions. So if we miss your question, wait a couple minutes and try again, because I try and catch the interesting ones that are questions. There's a lot of just chat going on. But if it's a question, I try and pin it so I can come back to it. Next question, just very briefly, because we already talked about HYMC. Is HYMC going to run next week? Is it going to run? So I'll tell you what I think about it, what I'm doing. This is my opinion. This is not by any means what it's going to do, and everybody on the panel might have a different opinion. I'm waiting for it to come back down before I do anything with it. That doesn't mean it won't run. That's just my opinion. And who wants to go next?
I agree with you, Tony, on that. But I did see someone mention what they thought about Mullen, and because I've just recently had some experience with it, I just wanted to put out there that I believe that once Mullen stabilizes a little bit, you're going to get some more fresh money into AMC. I believe that the people that are dabbling with Mullen currently are probably holding AMC like I was. And I think it's a good thing because you're going to get some more money into AMC to help it up. And yeah, just wanted to point that out.
Masalorian or Froggy, KC, do you think HY Highcroft Mining is going to run next week?
I'll take it. So on Friday, I decided to buy into HYMC because it is a little risky, but if you look at it right now, it's setting up on a support at like 132, 133. So I figured we're in a wedge right now, and there's a good chance that we can break out of this wedge and head back up to 156. And based upon the view up, I mean, with the volatility and stuff, it's oversold based upon RSI, but the cash flow is starting to come back in. So it looked like a short-term play, and I jumped in it. So might be risky, and it's cheap. I only threw like $1,000 at it and figured, what the heck, let's see what happens. So
Nice.
Mass.
I'm not touching HYMC. I finally just got my Super Bowl money, and that is on the side. And as soon as we start creeping towards $20, that's where my money is going.
Good man.
KC, have you looked into the charts or any thoughts about if you're buying HYMC, or do you think it's going to run? Any potential?
I stick to AMC, buddy. I'm
right.
100% AMC. I pull up information for those who want it. Whenever they come to the channel, I absolutely 100% will love to give information. But as far as trying to give predictions as to where certain stocks, AMC is the only one that I really kind of feel comfortable doing. Just because I really want to support AMC, and I think AMC is the way to go.
Well said.
Agreed.
I'm not trying to say it's your money, it's your choice. I'm not trying to say you should only buy AMC, but that's what I want to focus on.
Yes, everybody's opinion is their opinion only. So none of it's financial advice. You just ask our thoughts. We share it. I looked into the financials and the prospects for HYMC. And although I would not argue that there could be some FOMO run with it. It looks like it's going to be some time before they get gold and silver out of the ground, if they do. So I think it will trend down, and maybe I'll buy some if it goes back to $1, but I'm not dabbling in it at the moment.
I mean, they're trying to raise money right now, right? So that they can get back into the ground and start taking core samples, correct? So, I mean, we're looking at a little bit of time here before we see anything actually coming up and producing a profit for shareholders.
I don't know if you guys saw the news article, but they laid off their staff in November because of lack of funding, finishing the chemical process on ore that they had already extracted. So that to me is not like a sign that this company is about to report massive profits. If so, I just looked at that and said, if it runs, it's only from FOMO. That's what I saw. All right. What else we got here? Here's a good one from Mooser. Do we think they might be waiting for June to cover to cross the 1-year mark from when they shorted for tax purposes? I have no idea personally how they plan their taxes or how that works for hedge funds. Anybody an expert on hedge fund taxes or looked into that or want to comment on it?
No, not me.
Okay, we'll do a pass on that one. Country Pride asking, do you believe some influencers are trying to get people out of AMC, I'm assuming, for a potential payout? So if I read into that question, Country Pride, I don't want to read into your question. I'm not sure I understand what you're asking.
I think I understand it if you want me to take it. Seems like what he's trying to allude to is less people, I guess the share price, more money for everyone that's holding, get some people out, because I've seen that a lot in comments. A lot of people are trying to push that. You know, the comments section is a very, very, for a word that our buddy likes to use, nefarious place. And you've got people there trying to sway people that really think these comments are 100% legit. They throw things like that out. Like, oh, people should, don't invite anybody else into this stock play because it's less money for the whole community. So I'm taking a guess. I'm taking a stab. I think that's what he's talking about. He can follow up and comment and say, yes, I was right, or no, I wasn't. So I believe that's what he might be thinking, that some content creators want to push some people out so that, everybody who's still in can reach these higher share prices. That's my stab.
I think there are some people trying to influence people out. What their reasons for it would be up for speculation. Myself asks, Anyone? Panel reminds me of my school days. Anyone want to answer this question? Nope, nope, nope. Sometimes we
Well, I
just
mean-
don't want. We don't want to ramp up the drama, and I think most of us are also pretty fact-based folks, and we don't like to answer stuff based on just pure speculation. There's plenty of
Right.
other channels that will speculate and clickbait all day long, and that's not what this group is about. So it's not that we're trying to dodge the question. We just don't want to be pinned down with the wrong answer just based on a guess, or just making shit up, you know? We want to answer your questions if we are knowledgeable on the subject, but if we're not, we're going to pass. And there were a lot of other people invited tonight that some of them could answer those questions, but not everybody's here tonight. So, all right. Let me get rid of this. Shaw's beard, KC Shaw's beard is wise. I like that. Your beard has its own personality, KC.
You know, I was on Reddit. I think it was either September or October, and somebody said, "Hey, we should grow our beards out until this thing moasses." I'm like, "That's a great idea. Let's do that." Because I had a clean face as clean as Masalorian over there a couple months ago, and not anymore. No, but so I'm holding the beard until 90. It's gonna just keep growing. I'm committed to. I hate this thing. It's a rat on my face, and it's a sign of willpower. It's a sign of willpower. If I can keep this beard, I can hold my shares.
There you go.
I like that. I couldn't commit to a beard, so I committed to sitting on a hard pine wood chair. But we finally got a new chair in the studio. And by the way, for my regular viewers, I think we all agreed in the Discord, since I was out of town last week, we're going to extend the chair catalyst to add in for the days I was gone. So the chair catalyst has been extended to next Friday.
Make sure you announce that.
Make sure what?
Make sure you announce that loud and clear so people hear it all around, the internet land.
Yeah.
So we don't come back wondering what's the chair catalyst.
I'm
Do
gonna
AMC chairs.
my thumbnail tomorrow is gonna be day 2 of the chair catalyst. Or sorry, Friday. It'll be day 4. Day 4 because I counted the weekend. We have 7 days, so we have till next Friday. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to see someone's speakers are causing feedback, but I can't see who it is.
It must be coming off-
Test. Is it me? Test.
I think it might be John Wick.
It's me. Test.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you.
No, it's gone. Yep.
It's gone.
Turn your speakers down a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. All right. I hope it's a little better. I don't know. I just wanted to give take a pause real quick and give a shout out to Pam the Trader. If you're ever down on this stock and you need someone to like reinvigorate you, that lady is like the #1 AMC cheerleader as a viewer, but now as somewhat a content creator, because she kind of like took the stab at the challenge, came out, got looked at a lot. Very proud of her, and she is just an amazing supporter to all content creators. She is just so uplifting, and I always like to really, really acknowledge the community, especially the ones that support us and look for every bit of content that we put out. And she's definitely one of the top supporters. So Pam, thank you very much. I just wanted to give you a special shout out on this live.
Thank you, Pam. Could not agree more. Steven says, do you think they will pull AMC if the price goes too high? I've heard a lot of crazy theories about AMC getting delisted for this, that, and the other. And I'm going to address your specific question, but crazy theories like if there's a protest in front of the SEC, they're going to delist AMC, or if there's a town hall, they'll delist AMC. A lot of that, I think, is just my opinion, crazy talk by one person that it wants to scare you into thinking anything you do to show your conviction and your anger at the manipulation is going to get it delisted. I think none of those things will get it delisted, but could they stop trading in AMC if the price goes high? I think that is a valid concern, my own opinion. John, what do you think?
Oh, I'm glad you asked me. To be honest with you, if the stock is not doing what we feel like it should do, why stop taking any sort of action to find out answers? We're supposed to be in fear of a delisting, so we just sit on our hands and say, well, I'm too scared that they're going to delist it, or pull the stock, or whatever the case may be. I've often wondered that, or and you know me, I'm not the type of person that is just going to sit back and accept, knowing that strongly my opinion is that there's things that are wrong with this stock. That's why I'm taking this action and taking this challenge of trying to get everybody to put out a video so that the Masalorian can edit it and send it off to a few places, because I'm not the type of person that just sits around waiting. I feel like we should have something in our back pocket while we wait. So I definitely don't fear delisting or any of those weird conspiracies that were put out by somebody, and I can't even understand why you would put that out.
But let's talk about the question that Stephen asked, and I know it's a delicate question, and if you don't want to answer it, I understand. But if the price of AMC were to run to unreasonably high levels, to the point where the DTCC is looking at running out of all their reserve funds and prime brokers going bankrupt, et cetera, it has been postulated, and I've even commented on it on my channel. And it's one of the few things that I agree with Lou about. I think that they could stop trading in the channel, in the stock, just like the LME did with nickel. Like, things are getting out of hand. 80% of the brokers are about to go under, and they're going to protect themselves, protect the market over investors in one stock. That's my thoughts. I know it's not a popular answer, and it's okay if you guys disagree. I want to hear your thoughts.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. I disagree. I don't live in that type of, for lack of a better term, fear. They will lose the stock market completely if they do something like that. They won't get any retail investors if they do something like that. I just think that that's when people will really take to the streets in strong protest. I mean, if you're already trying to cheat us, and we know that, and then when it runs and you basically say we can't pay you, I mean, I don't think the people of this country are going to say, oh, all right, guys, no problem, you're not going to pay us. So I just can't give that too much value, because I just really think that would be the end of the stock market completely. I just don't see how you don't pay people that played by the rules. You said we can buy a stock. You said we can hold it. We can hold it together. And now it runs up, and you're going to tell me you're not going to pay me? I think that would be a very, very big issue in this country.
So since that is your thought, what do you think about what happened with nickel? Because that's exactly what they did to the entire nickel market. They said, stop trading, cancel all of today's trades, go back to yesterday's price, and we're going to shut down trading in this in this commodity until we straighten it out behind the scenes.
Is that in our stock market?
The London Metal Exchange.
Yeah,
I can't comment for what London is doing in their stock market. I can only comment what you do in this stock market. And if you do that in this stock market, it's going to be a big problem, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Masalorian, did you want your camera back on? I don't know if you turned it off or I did.
I hit recharge by accident. whatever
Gotcha.
it's called.
Okay. Masalorian, you want to talk about that question that's on the screen?
All I'm gonna say to that is, if they pull AMC, anything like that goes down, I think you will see a revolt in the streets.
Yeah.
I don't want to look and see that time. I know I'll be out there, so I don't want that to happen.
Hang on.
So-
I'm just going to address an elephant in the room, guys. If you're going to be rude to anybody on this stream, you're going to be permanently blocked. So sorry, Brenda, not appropriate. All right, moving back to the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, we weren't saying anything about the town hall delisting it, right? We were just saying in
I
general.
have no idea what she's talking about, but there's no tolerance for that on this channel.
Yeah. There's two things about this. First of all, they're going to make a lot of their money back. Like, they're going to get hit hard on this, but there are a lot of silly people out there. And this is no offense to anybody watching this or not watching this, but there are a lot of young green investors who have done nothing in the market besides maybe watch a couple of videos and have 10 shares of AMC. And they could get possibly a windfall of cash. And I'm sure that they will be able to recoup some of their losses through the market. If you alienate and isolate retail because of greed and you're caught on it again, like we did back in January, I think it would. Now it won't collapse the market because the market was there long before retail. But as far as this new influx and infusion of investors into the market, losing that, I think, would set it back big time.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind that it would piss a lot of people off and it would be a really bad look. Froggy, you haven't gone on this question. Would they shut off AMC trading if the price got too high?
I think if they were smart, they wouldn't do anything of the sort. It would ruin the integrity of the market, and people would become running out of it, cash in hand and all. And what's going to happen? That money's going to go back to the banks. They don't have it. You'd have a bank run. So you have problems no matter which way you look at it. So they need the people to stay in the market because their money's not in the bank no more. They've already lent it all out. So they're stuck in a rock and a hard place. They wanted us here. They got us here. Now we're winning a play, and they still don't want us to win. So it's like they screwed themselves.
Very good.
KC?
So I like to think of things a little bit more broader than just AMC, and I think that we talked about this a little bit earlier too. Is that when AMC does pop off, or when another meme stock starts to pop off, there may be sympathetic movements from some of the other meme stocks, and so you're going to be looking at multiple payments over multiple different stock prices or stocks that have to be paid out, because if we're indeed talking about margin calls that are occurring on hedge funds, they will happen across the board, 100%. That's how it's going to work. So the question is can they afford to pay every single one of those meme stocks when there is margin calls? And I don't know if they're going to have enough money for all of that. There may, my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, there may be a point in time to where they say, like, this is what we're willing to offer people for recovery of the shares that are owed during this period of time. Take it or leave it. And we're going to pay this amount out. If you want it, take it. If not, then we're going to reset the price and win it, and then we'll go from there. That's kind of what I think may happen. Whether that actually happens or not, we'll see. I mean, we're just going to have to take it when it gets there. It's going to be one of those moments in time. But I did mention this to you before, Tony, is that one of the things is circuit breakers are different in the exchange that AMC is traded in versus commodities.
Yep.
And one of the things that I do is I want to get anybody, if there's anybody out there who knows Pine coding for TradingView, please contact me through Twitter, if you can, KC Shaw, and let me know, because I'm trying to get somebody to be able to program circuit breaker indicators so that we can see that when that's going to happen. Because if there's anything that's happened in the most recent past, is that they're trying to condition us into thinking that when you see a circuit breaker trip, that's the end. that once that circuit breaker is released, that the price is going to fall, and it may fall, but that's not the end. And so I think it's really important and key for us to know when those circuit breakers are going to trip. That way that we can identify when they're going to happen and say, like, okay, this is normal. Here it comes. There it is. Okay, we're going to start trading again. No big deal. So if there's anybody out there who knows pine coding, it should be pretty easy to put an indicator like that together. I'd love to hear from you.
And I said this weekend to you that I would reach out to Astro, so I will do that and see if he knows how to do that, because I want to get you some help on that. It's not my area of expertise. And I think those of us that were talking with you on Friday night after the live stream, none of us were experts in that. Let's see what else we got. How are they going to bail out the banks and shaft us when we have to pay the bill as taxpayers through higher taxes? So I just think back to the mortgage crisis. Who got the bailout and who got the shaft back then? Did the individuals get bailed out or just the banks? So when I'm formulating my opinion on how I answer this particular question, and I respect the answer of everybody, I guess I'm the lone wolf in thinking that we're going to get the shaft. And that's fine. You know, I respect everybody's opinion. I'll just look back at past history and even recent history, even if it is the London exchange, my thought that we will get the shaft. So I want to be out of this play at as high a number as I can get, but not so high that I will let some run for dream money, but I'm not going to let all of it run to $1 million, because I think it'll be shut off before that, or whatever your number is that breaks the bank, breaks the system. So what else? Anyone else have any final thoughts on that?
Well, I'll give a quick final thought on that.
Yeah.
How much money is this going to go up to where you would be disappointed that you didn't get the rest? So if it was $500,000, I mean, are you really disappointed that you didn't get 750,000 per share? Let's just assume for a second. That's the part that I think about. So if you've got 500 shares and it hits 100,000 and they shut it at 100,000, are you really that pissed off if it could have gone to 500,000? That's the only part that I wonder. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely don't like being controlled. That's for sure. It should run to wherever it should run, because when they're shorting a stock, they go all the way down to zero bankruptcy. So why not let it run for as high as possible? But I don't know how pissed off the community would be if they stopped it at a large number. You know, even if you're one of these kids that have 10 shares and it hits $100,000 a share, you know, that's a lot of money. I don't know that they will complain past that point. I don't know who complains really about it. But I would be upset that it didn't run, but I don't know that I'd have time to be upset. I'd be buying all the things that I've wanted to buy. So that's where I'm going to leave that. But Tony, I'm going to excuse myself. But before I do, I want to say thank you very much for having me on. You run a class act stream, and I'm very happy to be a part of it, especially with the guys that are on. I love fighting this good fight with you guys and with the community that we have that's so supportive. And I just want to continue doing what we do for the community until we have our day, or we find out why we did not have our day. So having said that, I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for joining in, John. It's been fun watching your channel grow, keeping us, taking us on the walks by the lake and watching Dixie play in the grass. I love it. And I enjoy your content.
Thank you, my friend.
Peace, brother.
Have a good night, guys.
Take care. All right. I got a new question. Unless someone else wants to jump on this one, I've got a.
Can I just touch on that
question.
1 sec?
Yes.
So I just want to say, guys, just factor in when you are making your mental brackets to exit this play, factor in or try to factor in your taxes and inflation when you are selling. Remember that it's not just the tax that you're going to have to pay. There's also going to be inflation that's going to constantly, it's not transitory anymore. They have dropped that term. So this inflation is sticking with us for a little bit. So just hang on and remember that when you are cashing out, try to factor that in where we might be in a couple months with CPI data.
Good point. I know one of you talked about Lion Trader's latest video on brackets. I have not seen it. Whoever watched that video, if you want to share your thoughts really quick.
Yep, that was me. I just
right,
thought
go
he did.
ahead.
I just thought he did a really good job. He used like prices that were all below 1,000, but he was just using that as an example to show how he was going to exit at different positions. And the way he broke it down was just really well done. You can, if you watch his video, you can factor in any number you want to place in where he was putting in numbers. He was just using, I think, a range of somewhere between 500 to 1,000 in order to show where he was going to take off here to recoup his original investment. Then he wants 10% for this. And just the way he broke it down was really well done. And it's very similar to the process that I myself am going to use when I get out.
Froggy or KC, have you had a chance to review any of his bracket video?
Not yet.
Okay.
Is this Leo?
Yeah.
Okay. You may have to say.
No,
I mean,
please.
hey, this is, if you don't want to share it because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings, that's fine. If you want to speak your thoughts, this is an open mic, so speak your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually touched on that because I had a lot of people asking me about it. Now, his shotgun approach is great, right? There's nothing wrong specifically with the shotgun approach. However, the way that he kind of goes about talking about it, there's a massive problem. And what he's doing is he's taking a target and he's plastering a target on the side of a of a skyscraper, and he's shooting the target from ground floor. Have you ever played? I actually liken this to. Have you ever played Angry Pigs? Or no, wait, is that the name? Angry Birds. You ever played Angry Birds?
Yes.
You know,
I have. Yep.
You know, there's that dynamite that you have to hit and it blows up the entire building. Okay, imagine for a moment that our price target that we want to hit is the dynamite, and it's the target that I'm talking about. And he takes this target and he places it on the building. He doesn't know where the dynamite is, but he just places it on the building, and he pulls out his shotgun with his bird shot. He shoots the target and he's hit it. He's hit his target 100%. The problem is the dynamite's not on the first floor. And if you don't know what floor you're shooting for, you're going to be selling too early. And so what if I told you there was a way you could get into one of those window washer devices, those little elevators that they have for the window washers? It takes you all the way up to the top of the building. And on the way up, you get to look into each one of those windows and see which floor that dynamite's sitting on. Then on the way back down, I'll let you shoot that shotgun. What if I told you? What would you rather do? Would you rather shoot that target that's on the ground floor, or would you rather shoot the target where the dynamite's at, way up on maybe like the, I don't know, 50th floor?
What do you recommend?
Yeah.
I think there's a way to figure out. I think there's absolutely 100% a way to figure out where the top is. And I think that you can sell on the backside of a squeeze on an uptrend. And there's a couple key indicators to look at. And I think that what he's suggesting you do by just selling at specific points is setting up price targets, price floors and ceilings. He has no idea how high this can get up to. And if you just start unloading your shotgun too early, you got nothing left. And if you look at his numbers, and I've actually broken it down in an Excel spreadsheet to show like his method versus somebody who only has a 200 shares method versus the method that I'm telling you, where the elevator up to see what floor and there's a drastic difference between what somebody who holds 200 shares can do if they actually ride the elevator up and then shoot at that target on the way down, than somebody who is trying to use his plan. Big differences. There's two indicators I said, and I'm just going to throw them out there for you guys just because, I want to help the community. And I've done a lot of research into how these short squeezes work. And the very first indicators that you're looking for is day over day volume decreasing. So as the price is moving upwards, there's always going to be dips. And I can read off all kinds of crazy numbers to you because I've looked at GME extremely heavily. But along the way up, there are price dips. 70% price dips ever reach the top. Think about that. Could you watch the price go from $1,000 down to $300 and holding and knowing that that's not the top because you're in your elevator and you didn't see the dynamite yet? The dynamite's in the volume. When you start to see the volume start dropping, that's one of your first indicators to know that you're coming towards the backside of the squeeze. The second indicator is the dip size to decrease. There's dips to decrease on the backside, and there is always on these massive squeezes a secondary rise that takes you back up about 25 to 15% of the top of the price, and you can sell on the uptick. The thing is you have to be willing to lose 15 to 25% of the total top. But I guarantee you that is way better than trying to guess your way up on the front side. Way better. And I've proven it in an Excel spreadsheet for everybody to see on my show. So I have a problem with it. I don't like where he's going with it because I think the problem with it is that if we all sit there and just try to randomly pull out our shotgun and just start shooting birdshot everywhere, we're going to be wasting all of our ammunition, not getting the most amount out of price that we can possibly get because we're selling too early. We can get way more out of price the longer we hold.
I want to thank you for sharing your thoughts. And I see a couple people disagreeing in the comments. Guys, please remember you're asking questions and we're sharing our opinions. Doesn't mean we're right. Doesn't mean we have all the answers. We happen to be the people on the panel tonight. Leo's welcome to come on the live stream. It's an open mic. So we'd love to have him on sometime and maybe he could talk more about it. And if not, go check out the videos on his channel. But tonight you get our thoughts.
Yeah, I'm throwing this out there too because I just saw that Common Sense Investor said you're saying sell on the way down. And no, I'm actually saying sell on the way up because you actually can get your orders filled easier when you're on an uptick on price than when you're coming down. So yes, you're selling on the backside of the squeeze, but you're selling on an uptick.
So KC, did you see his video?
I did. I watched. Well, you guys said his recent one, and the one that I saw feels like it might have been like 2 months ago, but it sounds like it's the same kind of video that you guys are talking about. And I'd have to go back and watch and see if he's got a new one.
Okay. Yeah, this is just from 2 days ago, but
yeah. Okay. The one I'm referring to is a lot longer ago.
So what are those? Were you saying there are indicators that you can pick out looking at the chart?
Yeah, I mean it's just day over day volume increasing. You want to see it decreasing. When it's decreasing, you're starting to go towards the backside of the squeeze. As that volume is decreasing, that's demand. That's demand being lost, and it's also synthetics no longer being transferred around, right? So there's a lot of shares being transferred all over the place, and that's why we see back on January, 27th of last year, 1.2 billion shares traded of AMC when we only had a float that was like 400 or 300 something odd million shares. The float was traded 4 times over. It's synthetics. Those are all synthetics being transferred back and forth. So as your volume starts to decrease, that's one of your very first indicators that you're going to know that you're towards the top. The second indicator is price dips starting to decrease, because as you're going up the ladder to the very top, the price dips start to become greater and greater and greater before you get to the very top. And then on the way down, the price dips start getting less and less and less. It's an elevator kind of feature where you have big jumps going up and then little jumps going down. Now, even if you look at one of these like day pump and dumps, one of these daily pump and dumps that we have all the time, you can almost see this on one of those daily pump and dumps. Now, the problem is you can't do daily volume decreasing day over day. You won't see it because it's all happening in a single day. But you can see volume decreasing as it's getting to that peak, that point peak. And as it starts to decrease, that's how you know you're there. It's coming. The end is there. And as that volume starts to decrease, it starts to move downwards. The peaks are a little bit less noticeable on pump and dumps on the way on the backside down, and it would be much harder to try and time one of those kind of things selling on the backside. And I would never even suggest it. But on a squeeze play, they last. This thing's going to last for days. It's going to last for absolute days, and the amount of time that you're going to have to sell on the backside will be hours. You will have hours of time in order to sell.
So I'm sorry, Tony, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go
Did you
ahead.
wanna
Go
ask
ahead.
something? So Casey, are you suggesting that to everyone or just someone who has a small amount of shares? I saw a couple times someone asked me in the comments, and just so you guys know, I can't type back unless I'm off of this. But so does that mean if you have a small amount of shares, do the same thing, or if someone who has a large amount, would you recommend? I guess you're saying either way, right? No matter how many shares you have, this is the correct. This is the way that you believe it should be done.
No, I'm not
Using
trying
these
to tell any.
indicators.
No. See, you got to be real careful because you can't be telling people
That's
how
why
they
I'm
should be
asking.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
got to
I'm
be really
asking.
careful, and you can't tell people how they're supposed to trade. But I'm just simply telling you that I know that there's very specific indicators that you can look for that will tell you when you're on the backside and when you're going to see an uptick that will get you to within 15 to 25% of the top. How you want to sell your shares specifically is up to you, right? I'm not going to sit there and tell everybody that they need to follow what it is I'm telling you, but I will say, the longer we hold our shares as a community, the longer we all hold our shares, the more money we absolutely will get out of this. 100%.
Sure.
That's going to depend on us. So my thing is I say no floors, no price floors, no price targets. Why? Because that's what you're doing. I'm going to know what you're doing. And when I see when you're done, I'm going to know. I'm going to know, and I'm going to be able to make my position. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. And that's how I'm able to hold for everybody else. So I'm not trying to tell everybody else that they need to do this. That's up to them.
All right, let's move on to another topic. CSI is asking about what about the town hall? I think we talked about that earlier at the beginning of this stream. Do you guys want to address that again? Any thoughts?
So I had talked to CSI and told them that I had been in touch with someone who has direct contact with Adam Aaron, and that I was running the idea by him to find out if it would be a possibility or if it was completely out of the realm of reality. And I'm just waiting to hear back from that person about that.
KC,
I spoke to him 24 hours ago.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's okay.
KC, any thoughts on the town hall?
On what specifically?
I think they're common sense investors organizing a virtual town hall to discuss AMC and try and get Adam Aaron involved. I don't want to speak for him. He's discussed it on his channel, but he's asking our opinions on it. Or if you're not familiar with it, we can move on to the next question.
Like, do I think we should have one?
A virtual town hall, since we can't get our questions answered by Adam Aaron.
I don't know that we'll be able to get him to. I mean, I feel right now that his lawyers wouldn't even let him talk to the news, to the media after the purchase of HYMC, or I keep wanting to call IMCA.
HYMC.
I keep adding the A on the HYMCA. But yeah, no, I mean, he couldn't. Yeah, it's just take the H up, put the A on there. But
yeah,
no,
I mean, I think it can't hurt. I don't know who all is going to be involved in it, like Adam or the media or what all he has planned, but certainly can't hurt.
No, yeah, I don't see why you couldn't.
I'm trying to find out why he hasn't been on since his Q3 call, and that's what I'm waiting to hear back on right now.
Why Adam Aaron hasn't been on what?
Yeah, hasn't been on with anyone's channel, talked to anyone, not discussed anything with retail. Yeah. It's been a while, right? So there's a reason behind that. That's what I'm trying to get to the bottom of right now. with the person I'm speaking with.
Here's another good question I pinned. Could we see $30 on just fundamentals? This is more of a theoretical discussion. You're not going to be held liable for this. This is not financial advice, just your opinion.
Yeah. So when was the last time we were at $30? I believe the end of 2017. We were at or November of 2017, I think was the last time we were around $30.
What,
And
AMC was at $30 a few months ago.
I mean, before we got into this play, before any of us got into AMC, going back historically, right? What was our all-time high before? I think it was
Yes,
somewhere
probably
about 30 and a half.
before 2017, probably then.
Are you messing with me? Let's see. But obviously the float was smaller back then, right? We just got a bunch of shares dumped on us. But the numbers back then, if you go back and look at the revenue, they're blowing anything out of the water that we have right now. So we got to get caught up with that. And we are catching up with that quickly. And this year is going to be one hell of a year for the movies, I think. So just hang on to everything.
KC, can we see $30 on just fundamentals?
Absolutely.
Woo! A friend in need is a friend indeed.
Yeah, I absolutely think that we can be $30 fundamentally, and the reason that I say that is look how many movie theaters we've lost here in Texas. I mean, I don't know if you're a fan of some of the movie theaters around here, Tony, but we've lost theaters, and AMC. That means AMC gets to pick up all that revenue. So, like Masalorian was
Hang
just
on
saying.
one second, because guys, I'm not going to tolerate people saying bullshit in the chat. Brenda, you're going to get Froggy removed from the live stream. I see a note here that says Tony just said a town hall would get AMC delisted. Did anybody hear me say that?
No.
Brenda, you are a liar, and you're going to get your content creator blocked from this live stream posting that stuff. Froggy, if you can't get her under control, you're going to, unfortunately, she's going to cause you to not be in this live stream. You can mute her on your channel or block her for the day. I don't care, but I'm not going to put up with liars in this chat.
Yeah, the only thing we talked about delisting had nothing to do with the town hall. Someone was just randomly asking a question about the stock getting delisted. Had nothing to do with that.
All right, sorry. Moving back on. $30 on fundamentals. Sorry, Casey. I just can't deal with that bullshit.
I hear you, man. So here's the deal. You know as well as I do, Tony. The movie theaters here have suffered, and we've lost a lot of movie theaters. We've had some, I think, long-standing movie theaters that were Texas leaders and I guess bringing beer into the movie theaters and making people shut up when the movie's happening, right? We've lost those, and but guess what? AMC's here to pick up all that revenue, and so do I think that AMC can pick up where all those other theaters have failed and are probably going to continue to fail? If the market does start to have a downturn, there's going to be some more hard times, and I think AMC is perfectly set up for that right now. So fundamentally, yeah, I think I see us getting a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Froggy, do you want to field this question? Could we see AMC $30 on fundamentals?
Oh, easily. We're underpriced, but we're being suppressed too. So I don't know if they're going to let it go up. So we got earnings coming back up here again in like, I don't know how many more days, like what is it, like a month and a half? So the next 2 quarters after that are supposed to be strong. So there's not really a reason why we don't see 30 as it is.
I agree. I don't know if, based on improving fundamentals, I think we could easily get to $30 this year. Whether or not it's justifiable based on a financial analysis, that maybe is a different discussion. But I think if we get continuing improving fundamentals every quarter this year, if we don't squeeze before the end of this year, my answer is there's absolutely no reason we couldn't get back at 30 or higher as the year goes on. Ultimately, the price of a company stock-wise is based on what people are willing to pay for it on the current earnings, right?
Yep. Any given day.
So entirely possible, in my opinion. All right, here's a fun one. This is probably might be our last question of the night because we're going a little bit. What are we at? 2.5 hours coming up.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Willie says, Willie, I hope you're still here. This is a theoretical exercise. This is not any of us saying we're going to sell AMC or buy puts on it, but Willie has a theoretical question, and sometimes it's just fun to talk about these. What if the MOAS never happens and then we all come together and sell or buy puts? What would happen?
We would probably be called grimy.
Grinding?
Grimy. We'd be probably all called grimy. Yeah.
Yeah. Just morally, I could not do that. But I think just based on supply and demand, if everybody sells and buys puts, you're going to drive the stock price down. And so that's what would happen, in my opinion.
Yes.
Anybody have any other thoughts? I know no one wants to go on record answering this question. I get it.
I can't see the squeeze not happening at some point. I mean, if everybody just buys and holds until whatever it takes, it's gonna have to pop. It doesn't make sense that it wouldn't happen.
Yeah, let's talk about the positive, not about the negative what ifs. I mean, this is the same reason I made a video months ago about the ridiculousness of telling people to stop buying. It's like the same thing as buying puts and shorting the stock. You're eventually, that lack of buying pressure is going to decimate the price of the stock. And if you own AMC, you shouldn't be, and you believe in, the recovery of this company or the existence of synthetics or any sort of market manipulation, you shouldn't be talking about buying puts and shorting the stock down. That's talk for really another channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. In the spirit of wrapping up and not keeping you guys for 4 or 5 hours and keeping peace in my own household for the same reason, parting thoughts, parting comments. I'll let KC go first since he was first in the chat tonight.
Oh man, the pressure's strong.
You can just stay
strong on this one.
Here and peace out.
These gears are turning over here. Smoke's coming out of the brain. Let's see. I just want to say to the moon. That's all I'm going to say. To the moon.
There you go.
What is it?
To the moon.
To the moon. I thought you were saying 2 weeks.
Oh, I could be saying that too. 2 weeks. It's a good one. People love the 2 weeks.
2 weeks to the moon. Every day it's 2 weeks to the moon.
2 weeks.
Masalorian.
I just want to say thank you guys for stopping by and supporting each other and everyone who's answering comments for the other people in the chat and being respectful to each other. That makes our job so much easier, and you make it easier on the mods, and the mods can enjoy themselves and not have to worry about babysitting adults, which is awesome. Pam and Javi and those guys, it's Sunday night at 10:30. They just want to relax. So to those of you who did that, appreciate you. And look, guys, don't lose faith in AMC. This community, I think, is stronger than ever. There are plenty of places to turn if you need reinforcement or your conviction is waning. We're all available for you guys to get in contact with. I know I've slacked on my comments the last couple of days, but I'm getting back to them as soon as I get off this live stream. So just thank you for everyone for continuing to support us. We can't do this without you guys. And hodl on. I'll hold for you. You hold for me.
Jeremy.
Well, I want to thank everybody for showing up here. I mean, this play couldn't have really happened without all the people, period. This has nothing to do with the YouTubers or anything like that. This play is special because everybody came together and trapped the shorts in it. So, I mean, hats off to everybody. And, the holding process has been a little bit more pain than gain, but in the long run, as the company recovers and gets stronger, I mean, we get closer to that goal of forced covering or even willful covering. I mean, either which way, we still win. I mean, if you look at it, the shorts have not covered. I mean, that's Phil For Real's comment. It's right on point. So until they do, I mean, you know that the prize is still sitting there.
Thank you for
So
that.
thank you guys for coming, and I appreciate you all.
I want to say thank you to everyone who came on the stream tonight. If you're a new streamer or maybe a smaller channel, this is your chance to come on and let people see your face and hear your voice. I'm always happy to help new streamers learn the ropes of YouTube and how to get your channel some exposure. Often on smaller channels, I just see some very small tweaks are necessary to get your content optimized for views. You don't have to put $1 million price target in the subject of a video to get those views. So I'm here to help. I know Froggy, KC, Masalorian, everyone really has expressed an interest in supporting the community, and that was really my purpose for starting the open mic. And I love to see that a lot of you guys have picked up and carried the ball on other nights of the week. Thank you for doing that. It really is a community effort to get the word out and keep people informed and motivated with real facts, real due diligence, and not the clickbait stuff. So thank you to each and every one of you for showing up. And if you're new, come join us on another night.
Tony, I want to just say thank you so much for inviting me on here. I didn't say that, and I should have. So I do appreciate you bringing me on, and thank you.
And I don't do a lot of promoting during these, but I do want to say, because it is relevant to tonight's stream, if you haven't watched my video on that I put out this afternoon about hearing different viewpoints, being open to different viewpoints, I made a video today on collaboration videos, and I want to say to the people that were troubled by something you heard tonight or putting snide or rude or false comments, understand that we're sharing our opinions based on our own beliefs and our own research. And it doesn't have to agree with your favorite YouTubers' viewpoints. We all are humans. We're all adults. We're all investors. We all have our own thoughts. It's nothing personal against anybody. It's just our thoughts. And if you don't like it, don't watch. And if you can at least withhold your emotions from smashing that keyboard with rude comments, you might learn something by listening to different viewpoints. Thank you all for watching, guys. If you want to hang out for a few minutes after I end the live, we can have a quick chat. And I'm going to hand out bonus prizes and shots to each one of you. Thank you, folks. We'll see you Monday morning when the market's open, and let's pray for some green. Peace out.
Night, guys.